Curtis Calhoun here with MMA News, and my next guest, he picked up a massive win this past weekend at UFC 287, picked up a post-fight performance bonus. Lots going on for my man, Rob Font. How's it going, Rob?
Great, man. Just all smiles right now.
Absolutely, man. First things first, I mean, just kind of take me through that knockout, the post-fight moment where all the emotions of, the 1 year layoff and getting that big win over a guy like Adrian Yanez. I guess when you look at how that night played out at UFC 287, what comes to mind? How are you feeling?
Yeah, man. It just felt right. It felt right to be back in front of the crowd. It felt right to be in another big fight on a big card, pay-per-view. The place was sold out. It was packed. Fight week went great. It was great to come in as an underdog versus the number 12 guy. So I was like, oh, this is great. All my friends are gonna make money. It's gonna go down. And then it did. Obviously you always draw it up and you try to be as positive as possible, and but to have that first round knock, I figured it'd be at least second. Like wear him out a little bit, but we got into like an exchange. I kind of got into like that tie clinch, but like with one hand, really like one collar tie, and I landed an uppercut, and then his whole body just shook. I thought, oh, I got him, and I just stood on him. I stayed on him, hit him with some straight shots, and I started working more straight shots. And once I saw that he was hurt, I started looping him in a little bit more, and then similar situation. He was throwing a lot of punches as he was going backwards. So I was in that range to get hit, so I tried to like get my hands on him and close the gap, and I just ran him right into a uppercut hook with the rear hand, and it was over, man. I just lifted his whole body up. He fell down. I checked his legs real quick, made sure he couldn't keep me off, and I just landed another big right hand, followed up with some left hand ground and pound, like some hammer fists, and they called it. So it was a great night, great week. We got the W first round, and then we ended up with the cherry on top of that 50 grand bonus. So I can't complain about anything right now.
Did you expect him to get right in the pocket right from pretty much the get-go? Because, I mean, obviously entering this fight, a lot of people were saying, fight of the night, potentially front runner. I mean, did you kind of expect him to come out with that, that really close range pace early on?
I didn't. I think he landed a couple of right hands and got a little too confident, and then started just staying there. I figured he would kind of move. Stick and move, hit me with something and move his feet. I think he landed a couple clean right hands and he was like, all right, I can do this. And then just stood there for me to hit him. And then we got into exchange. Because even when he was backing up, throwing big shots. And it wasn't like he was backing up to get away. He was backing up trying to hit me. And then when I would be in that range, he would just let loose a couple, like 4 or 5 punches, So it was kind of like, I think it'd have been smart for him to kind of move. I think the moment he landed a couple shots, he felt like, he started feeling more comfortable, got a little more confident, and it just backfired on him.
I remember when we talked right before the fight, I think it was a few weeks just before this past weekend, we talked a lot about, the 1 year layoff, kind of resetting yourself physically, mentally, emotionally entering this fight. When you look at how that 1 year layoff played out, was there a specific moment that you look back and say, hey, like that was the moment that my competitive drive came back and got me really fired up physically, mentally to come back?
Yes and no. I think it's more of like I saw how well Calvin reacted to having that year off. I needed it. I felt like I needed it. We had a baby on the way, so it just only made sense. Kind of take. I didn't want to put Kent through another fight camp, through another fight. So it was like it all made sense. And then like I've done a year before. I know what it feels like. It's not like I was gonna come back and be overwhelmed by the crowd or overwhelmed by fighting. So like I've done it before. It wasn't like I didn't want to do it like the first time, but I've done it before. I took that year off. I know what it feels like. I know how I react, and I know I even bounced. I took a year off, and I came back and I beat Marias, in similar fashion. So it's kind of funky how it happened. It's almost the same exact way, So I don't want to keep taking years off, but if I have to, I don't think it'll be a big deal. The competition and motivation is always there. Like it was hard to see everybody else fighting and winning and obviously the division moving on. But then again, like I said, it didn't move that much. I'm still right there. I 1 or 2 fights away, and I'm right back to that conversation. So Yeah, I think it was much needed. I'm glad I did it. And it wasn't even like it didn't take much convincing for Mike Tyson to do it. It was just like we agreed. We said, listen, we're not even picking up the phone if Shelby calls until April. So let's just hang out, enjoy a couple months off, recover. Uh, you know, uh, you get your baby coming on the way, so try to like get that whole life scenario figured out and get on track, get your mind mentally wrapped around that. Once you have the baby, we'll jump back into camp, and that's exactly what happened.
In retrospect, do you feel like the 1 year off almost kind of added longevity to your career in terms of maybe adding a couple of years to your career to be able to physically, mentally reset?
I think so. Going 3 back-to-back main events, taking damage. I feel like, obviously the Aldo fight, the first time I actually really got hurt, and then the Cheetah fight felt like the first time I actually got beat up. So it was kind of like back-to-back. It was all right, just chill out. Like I was getting hit shots for shots in the Cheetah fight that I got. I'm like, what's going on? I never dropped to this type of stuff, and it just, I think it was just, I needed that break. I was just pushing too much, and it finally cracked.
And then after the fight, obviously you called out Deiveson Figueiredo. I'm not going to ask you why you called him out because obviously it speaks for itself. Obviously it's a massive fight, former flyweight champion. But I got to ask you, like when you look at his move up to 135 pounds, is there a part of you that wants to be that guy to prove that, hey, like this guy's making a mistake coming up to my division, thinking he can just, get right back on track?
Yeah, hell yeah. I would love to get back, get in a fight with a guy like that, with a big, huge name like that would hype the fight up. Ex-champion, he's been to the top. He's done that before. And he has a fun, crazy style. So I think it ought to be the right guy to welcome into the division right there. Like I'm ranked pretty high, not like top 5 or third, but it's pretty high. And I don't see anybody else fighting him, so it's kind of like only makes sense.
Do you feel like Adrian Yanez, there was a lot of talk from him about, future fights with Sean O'Malley. I mean, just being a fight or two away from the title shot, I guess. In retrospect, do you feel like he was distracted and kind of overlooking you in a way?
100%, man. Think about it, like why would O'Malley fight Adrian Yanez? It doesn't even make sense. Like think about calling out and talking about a fight that doesn't even make sense. It's not even close. Like it doesn't make sense. Like he knocks you. Let's just say in the perfect world, he knocks me out, right? When did they make that Sean O'Malley fight? And why would they make that fight? Or why would even O'Malley take that fight? So he goes to number 6. So the number 1 guy that's basically probably the most popular guy on the division, then now is going to fight the number 6 guy in probably, let's say, like a fight night main event in Vegas for Apex. Like, it doesn't make sense, you know what I'm saying? Like he's most likely going to be the backup or not for the championship. If not, he's the next guy in line. So it's like you're talking about O'Malley at a press conference on fight week. It's kind of like, ooh, like I gotta assume it's because he's younger. I gotta assume that it's this role he's trying to play. Or this thing. Hey, have the next guy in line, and he's in mind as far as like this PR kind of whatever you're trying to pull off. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. But it was funny. It was funny, man. I'm like, you kidding right now? You gotta like. I'm like, I'm gonna be either you're young, which is not that young. He's 30, right? Or he's just being mismanaged or being told to say these things and like not really thinking about what he's saying. He's just maybe hyped up and excited. And you get the microphone in your face and you got the cameras and you gotta say something. So why not say some cool shit, right? Like, and it's kind of like, bro, I don't know, man. Like, I guess so, man. If you're thinking about O'Malley before you fight me, then it's like, like good luck, because that doesn't even make sense. Like the fight alone doesn't. That's like me saying, like after this fight, I'm definitely fighting for the belt. Like nobody would believe. You know what I'm saying? Like what are you talking about? How you're number 6? You just beat number 12 guy. Like, why would Aljamain Sterling instantly fight me? You know what I'm saying? When he has a fight, like it is. Like, I was like, bro, I gotta assume he's young. So like, whatever, man. It was hilarious. When I saw that, like when I couldn't believe it, I was like, no, because I think it was Tyson that sent me that or told me about it. And I looked it up. I was like, what? Like you. Because he said he did say like, hey, he didn't say anything bad about you. It wasn't like talking shit about you. You know what I'm saying? But he did mention O'Malley and all that, and it was just like. And then I saw the video. I'm like, oh, he's for real. So it was kind of like, all right, bro, good luck. I just take a sip of the coffee and just laughed, eat inside. It's kind of like let's just go out there and just like make a statement, because like he's not he's definitely either overconfident or looking past me, which is I guess a good thing to be overconfident. But then and again, I didn't want to do the whole deep dive on this guy before the fight. But then when you think about it, like, how can you be overconfident by beating a guy like Randy Costa, Gustavo, and Tony Kelly, and then now you're talking about your first time on pay-per-view, first time fighting the top 5 guy or top 10 guy, and you're talking about O'Malley, like you're just all over the place, man. Like, all right, bro, like just settle down, man. And again, like it's easier for me to say that now after I won, so it's kind of like I don't want to like come off like I was just Nostradamus guy. Like I knew exactly how it's going to play out. So it is. Yeah, I will admit that it's got to be a lot. It's a lot easier for me to say that now that I won, but it was kind of like, bro, like get out of here, man. Like get out of here, bro. But it is what it is, Like I guess that's the way of doing it. That's the, like you get a camera in front of you. You're constantly in front of the camera. You gotta say something. Why not say the best you could say? I guess and try to, I guess, capitalize on the press conference as much as possible. So, but if you're gonna do that, I think just make it make more sense. Just make it make more sense. Make it seem more realistic. Make it seem like oh yeah, that actually could happen. You know what I'm saying? He goes out there. He might. I could see if he was talking about Corey Sandhagen or something. If I could beat Ralph Fine, I want to fight Corey Sandhagen. I can see something like that, or even Peter Yan. Like somebody in that kind of like, but like to go straight to O'Malley simply because he's obviously got the biggest name. The buzz is kind of like you're just chasing for clout. Like that's all you're doing. You're chasing for clout and attention and clicks and I guess assuming you're trying to be this internet guy, which is okay, I guess, but make it make sense, man. That's all I gotta say about that. Just make it make sense, man.
I got you, man.
Well, heck, think about like how he's feeling right now. How does he feel right now? Yeah. He has to look back and feel like, damn, man,
like regretting it. Yeah,
like he has to. I feel bad. I almost feel bad for him. Like if you break it down, I was like, you have to feel like he has to see that post and not want to see it again. He has to like see that video and be like, why did I say that? Or not. I don't know. But I know I probably would. If I was sitting there talking about O'Malley and not even talking about Adrian Yanez and I get knocked out in the first round. And the first time you ever been knocked out like that too. Like where it's like it's have to be a huge shock to him right now. A whole like he's probably been felt like he's being lied to this whole time. Like he almost got set up. I guarantee he's feeling that way. It's gotta be a tough feeling.
Last question for me, man. What's your message to all the fans that have supported you throughout this journey and stayed with you? And when can they expect you to get back in the octagon? I know, obviously, your last win is still fresh, but are you looking at International Fight Week? Are you looking at a specific card? What's kind of the time frame right now?
I think the latest October. Around that time. I just want to say thank you, everybody stuck with me, all the people that knew. Everybody that like kind of like didn't necessarily read all the articles and listen to all the videos and all the hype videos and all that, and didn't jump off the ship and still rocking me. A huge shout out to you guys. Just want to give a huge shout out to my team, my family, and all my sponsors, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the love.
Absolutely, man. Rob, it's always great to chat with you, and I really appreciate you making some time. I know you got a bunch of media going on this week, man, and I appreciate it again, and congrats again. I'm sure we'll chat again soon, man. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, bro. Have a good one.